What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cart Smart TV. Today we're going to be working on a 2012 EZGO TXT. This one is a gas model, and it is a local customer of ours. Been one for a long time, years and years, and he had a little bit of an accident. Not too bad, but still enough that it's got to be repaired. So let's look at what he's got going on. Not sure if you can really see what's going on with the tires there, but we're getting ready to dive in and I'll show you what we got. So he accidentally hit the gas pedal instead of the brake pedal, and he run into one of the pillars that hold up the side of his carport. Carport's fine, but the golf cart isn't. So we can see right here that our spindle is basically cocked back like this, and then also our steering link right here is bent really badly. So we are gonna have to put him a new axle in here and a steering link to get it back to being the way it should be. Alright guys, so in removal of this axle, I've done some of the smaller disassembly of this thing, but I'm going to take you through what I've done. Got to get your steering shaft from the steering wheel to the rack off. It is a 2-joint type deal, so you just remove the bolt that is on the rack. It'll slip right out of the teeth, and you put that to the side along with retaining the bolt that was in it. And then we take off our steering link, our tie rod ends basically. Just loosen up the lock nuts that they give you on factory. Loosen that up, spin it almost all the way to the top, hit it with a hammer, it'll drop it right off. Because if you're in a situation where you have to get a new link, it's going to come with everything you need, the tie rod ends and new nuts and everything. So just knock it out the way, throw it in the scrap pile. We've done both sides, knocked both of our tie rod end joints off of both sides. At this point, you're going to need to get your spindle off. Alright guys, so here's our driver's side spindle, our passenger side spindle. They're completely off. Now we have to focus on our steering rack. And so you have one nut here, one nut here, and then one here on the back side. Okay, so there's 3 nuts on top of this steering rack that will release the steering rack. Alright, your bolts are still going to be one of them. Okay, I see how they got this one set up with the spacers. Normally they have them like this, where you see this nut right here and then the spacer, but they have, in this model particularly, they have extended the spacer. So like I said, once you get these 3 nuts off, the steering rack's going to come out of your way. These 2 bolts are going to fall out. This one isn't. You will need to get this one out, so that way you can put it in your new axle when you got to put the rack back on. Alright, so our steering rack is gone. But right there. So like I was saying, the 2 spacers and 2 bolts will come out the way. Now you need to remember that these 2 washers that are on this bolt go underneath this nut on the top of the steering rack. They do that for a purpose. It's just to take up all the space so that it tightens down good, tight to the axle. I'm leaving this bolt in until I get this axle all the way out, which we are coming to the end of. And the last few things we've got to do is get our shocks taken loose from the shock mounts on both sides, and then these 3 bolts and nuts here on both sides to release it from the front leaf springs. and then she'll be ready to come off. Alright guys, there you go. So once you get your leaf spring clamps, shocks undone from the axle, you are ready to put your new axle back in its original place. Everything else looking pretty good under here. I don't see any other damages. Alright guys, as you can see, our new axle is in place. Shocks bolted back up. Our leaf springs hooked back to the axle. Shock hooked back up on this side as well. And so now I'm going to put my steering rack back in. That way I can be ready when I want to put my spindles back on, that I can just hook right to it. And I won't have to fight trying to get the spindle back and forth out of my way just to accommodate room for that, for the steering end. So I'll just get it in there now and get it over with. Alright, so we got our steering rack back on. Now it's time to attack these spindles, get them bolted back up. Alright, so spindles back on both sides of the cart. Now it's time to get all our linkages hooked up, our steering rack and steering rod. Get all that hooked back up, and then we can go from there on adjusting our toe with our new drag link here. Alright guys, so we got our tie rod end hooked back to our spindle for the steering rack. We also got our drag link back in place from one side to the other on the spindles. Just got to go back in here and tighten up our locking nuts on both sides. Of course, you're going to want to take this for a ride once you get all this tightened up, and then come back and double check all of it. Now time for the wheels and tires to go back on, and take it for a quick little spin to get it all to set in place. Come back and check all the bolts, tighten them back up, and then adjust for our toe end. Alright guys, so there you go. From broke to like it's never even happened. It's driving good. I've already adjusted the toe. Went back and tightened up all my bolts that we touched today, and gonna have a nice, happy customer once again. Alright guys, hopefully this video helped you out. Thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up for us. Make some comments if you got any questions about what you're seeing here. We'll reach out and answer all your questions. Also, the phone number to our business is linked in the channel somewhere. Give us a call if you need to. Be glad to talk to you. And as always, please guys, hit that subscribe button so we can make this channel go crazy for all you guys out there that may need some assistance with some repairs on golf carts. Thank you so much again for watching, and God bless you all.